Several people experience some symptoms in their body that they do not just pay attention to, simply because it feels like a regular symptom that they have felt in the past. Symptoms like fever, like cold, or even some swellings in some parts of the body. If only they had paid attention to this symptom and tried looking for what could have been responsible for this, maybe they would have caught it at a very early stage when it was easier to treat. What are we talking about? We're talking about lymphatic cancer. Lymphatic cancer, or like we popularly call it, lymphoma, is a very rare type of cancer that destroys the lymphatic system. This cancer is a relatively aggressive cancer that quickly spreads throughout the body by mutating into fast-growing and developing cells that do not die easily. These cells are as a result of the development of abnormal lymphocytes in the lymphatic system. So what do we actually mean by the lymphocytes? The lymphocytes are a part of the white blood cell that are responsible for defending the body against invaders. So we look at the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is actually a network that is responsible for defending the body against invaders or diseases and germs that probably might be thinking of causing harm to the body's well-being. Now, in the lymphatic system, there are a series of materials that we need to know or look at. In the lymphatic system, we have what we refer to as the lymph node. We have what we call the lymphocyte produced in the lymphatic system. We also have the bone marrow and also the thymus gland, or popularly called the lymphoid organ. Now, this thymus gland is responsible for producing what we refer to as the T lymphocyte that is found in the white blood cell. Now, when we look at this, there are several types of the lymphatic cancer or lymphoma, but basically divided into two, which are based on the type of lymphocytes that they affect. So they are differentiated based on the type of lymphocyte that is affected. And these two types of lymphatic cancer, we have what we refer to as the Hodgkin lymphoma. This is differentiated by the presence of what we refer to as a lymphoid lymphocyte that is found in the white blood cell, and this can only be seen with the aid of a microscope. It can only be viewed microscopically. And the second type of the lymphatic cancer is called the Non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Now, for the Hodgkin lymphoma, it is often seen averagely between the ages of 20 to 39 and then after 65. So we have it in youth ranging from 20 to 39 and people that are older than 65 years, while the non-Hodgkin lymphoma is seen in people between the ages of 60 to 80 years. Now, either of these two lymphoma have several types of treatments. The lymph is a watery fluid that circulates throughout the body through certain tissues, and they are responsible for carrying around several types of lymphocytes. Basically, the types of lymphocytes that are produced, we have the B-Lymphocite and the T lymphocytes. Now, there are certain risk factors that increases the risk of having what we refer to as lymphoma. Some of them are recurring or persistent case of HIV/AIDS, which is the human immunodeficiency virus. Yes, when somebody is exposed to this virus or somebody has a recurring case of the HIV virus, it oftentimes destroys the immune system to the barest minimum, such in the case that the immune system will no longer be able to perform as actively as it should. When this happens, the immune system will no longer be able to fight off any type of invader from the body. Another one is family history of lymphoma. When there is a family history of lymphoma, when there is a case of lymphoma existing in the family before, it increases the possibility of any member of that family also having what we refer to as lymphoma. Also, we have the case of weakened immune system, which could have been as a result of several types of health conditions that the body has been exposed to, or as a result of some medical treatment that the body is undergoing. Some of these medical treatments, like the case of the immunosuppressant medications. Anybody who has recently undergone any type of organ transplant will be placed on an immune suppressant medication. This is to help the person's body not to reject the organ. Now, when such person is having such treatment or undergoing such treatment, it exposes the body to the possibility of having what we refer to as the lymphatic cancer. And lastly, we have the case of the autoimmune disease. In this process, the body is fighting off the body cells or the immune system instead of fighting invaders. The body's immune system is fighting itself instead of fighting the invaders, and such can lead to what we also refer to as lymphoma. Now, talking about all of these prone cases that could result to what we refer to as lymphoma, there are certain symptoms that one should look out for. And once you see any of these symptoms, or you come in contact with any of these symptoms, or you start getting any type of feeling that is persistent with any of these symptoms, there is no need to worry, there is no need for panic. You just need to try as much as possible to go for the next line of action. Some of these symptoms are as follows. There will be painless swellings around certain parts of the body, like the neck, like the armpits, like the groins. Also, the neck, the armpits, the groins, that's the lower abdomen. Also, there could be cases of fever. The person could be having itchy skins. The person could be having night sweats, very heavy sweatings. The person can also be having persistent fatigue, shortness of breath. All of these are a series of symptoms that patients or people who are having lymphoma will be experiencing. Now, when somebody experiences any of these symptoms, it is not enough to just write out that the person has the cancer. There is a need for the person to go for checkup. Now, the checkup will determine if the person is actually having it or not. So some of the things that will be required is a proper diagnosis. A proper diagnosis will tell if the person is actually having the lymphatic cancer or not. Peradventure, the person is diagnosed to have the lymphatic cancer, there are certain things that can also be done. One of those things is actually going for a lab test to check the blood, as well as imaging to check what is actually going on in the body. Also, there are treatments that can be followed that can actually help to correct whatever could be happening in the body. Now, we need to understand that there is treatment that can be done or that can be administered to a patient having lymphoma. A patient having lymphatic cancer have treatment plans, and if it is not diagnosed early enough, then there might be the need for carrying out what we refer to as management. So for the lymphatic cancer treatment, we have several types of treatment like the chemotherapy. The chemotherapy adopts the system of using chemical suppressants to actually treat the case of the cancer, which can help to reduce the growth of the cancerous cell. We also have the radiotherapy, which the person can be exposed to certain level of radiation that can actually kill these cancerous cells or prevent them from continuing their growth. We also have what we refer to as the targeted therapy. In targeted therapy, we actually look out for certain proteins that are responsible for the growth in these cancerous cells. So these proteins are actually targeted and they are cut off, preventing the cancers from growing or multiplying in the body. Another thing that can be done is what we refer to as the immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is done or administered when the immune system is no longer able to fight off these cancerous cells.